All right, so in this book, Ali has made us to understand that success doesn't lead to feeling good. Rather, feeling good actually lead to success. So in this case, he has kind of talked about hard work, I mean, it's something that is so common, while growing up, while going to school, it was more like a competitive thing. You have to work hard, you have to do all of these things, and then there was no chance or there was no room for you to play or, kind of combine play and work together. So it was all about work. And I mean, in this book, Ali has tried to drag something in. It has sort of flipped the coin. You don't really need to work all the time. First of all, you have to feel good about yourself, and then the work comes in. If you're actually doing something that you don't like, I mean, if you go out there and there are a whole lot of people who don't really like the jobs they are doing, but for some reason they're still doing it. So in this case, if you find yourself in those kind of situations, you have to, try to calculate and bring in all the tiny little things that you think you make them match, that they can actually make you feel good while you work. So in this case, there are a whole lot of things there that you do. You love watching movies, you love singing. There are a whole lot of entertainment out there that you need to fill in your work. So why you don't necessarily love your job or your work or what you're doing at a particular time, but if you are, compared to do it, you have to bring the tiny little things that makes you happy, and then you combine them while you work. And that's just it for, when he talks about hard work doesn't bring the outcome or the result of feel good, rather feeling good bring the result of hard work. So Ali, as a medical doctor, as his profession, have dragged a lot of scientific words, medical terms inside, and throughout the introduction of this book to chapter 1, 2, and 3, and there on, has kind of dragged in a lot of medical terms and his experiences while he worked as a junior doctor. And for me, I think they are sort of a little bit complicated for people who don't really know all of this terminology. It's something that is not bad actually. That's his own experience, but you have to go learn it, try to understand most of these things before you be able to really understand what he's saying. So it's more like one part he's talk about his autobiography, and then on the other part he's talk about naturally life experience, and how to make meaning out of the things that you do and stuff like that. So he has talked about a lot of things from medical terms to psychology and stuff like that. And I mean, it's something that for most people, and if you want to read a book and you come across some sort of things like that, it's a bit frustrating. I mean, it's not totally a bad thing, of course, but and Ali has also talked about play, has given instances where the he has talked about 8 play personalities and stuff like that. He has talked about the competitors, the storytellers, and a whole lot of things. So when you read this book, you kind of imagine what sort of play are you going to include in your activity or your work that makes the whole thing go smoothly for you. So in that case, you're kind of saying, imagining yourself like a character in a movie, stuff like that, why you work. So you can as well just try to compare this in our everyday endeavors, and whole lot of things like that, and that makes you work smoothly or makes you find meaning and find happiness in what you do. There are a whole lot of diagrams in it. So one thing that I want to critique about this book is he has written a whole lot of diagrams in this book, whole lot of diagrams, and it's something that I feel is trying to bring out a formula of sort of drag a formula that if you follow it step by step, you are going to achieve a particular level of success, which I think for me, I don't necessarily think is that way. Of course, what works for you, if for most people, of course, what works for you, of course. But when it comes to life struggle and life success, and in our workplaces, the thing we do every day in our everyday lives, and people bring out formulas like this, and I mean, it's something that I find it daunting, of course, but I find it very difficult to struggle. If life was a sort of a formula that you need to follow it step by step, and I mean, life would have been so easy. It's not a formula, but So the way they make these things sound like, it's kind of formula and stuff like that. So I don't really get, but that's just it. There are a whole lot of things here that you read that you can make meaning out of your life, in your workplaces, in your friends, going out with people and stuff like that. Ali has talked about trying to get friends, making friends, why you meet some people that they make your morale so low that you won't be able to achieve anything. Why you meet some people who are able to boost your morale, that other people you meet that that are able to sort of lower your morale the way you think. So if you see somebody or you meet some people for a particular time, they just make you feel like you are going to take over the world, and then you meet some people like they kind of demoralized you and stuff like that. So it's kind of said a lot of things. I really love reading this book. I mean, it's something that we complete reading it surely, and then bring more reviews from chapter 4 and then going forward. In 2023 is a book to read, and in 2024 right now I read a couple of self-help books like Mark Manson's Everything is Fucked, like the software of not giving a fuck and stuff like that. I've also read James Clare's Atomic Habit. But in these three books that I read from 2021, 2022, 2023, and now in 2024, if you are kind of ask me to choose between these three books, which one comes first, or if you ask me to suggest or recommend a book that you should read first, I'm gonna go with this. I'll advise you to go with this. Mark Manson, Everything is Fucked. Reading this book was sort of a life changer for me. There are a whole lot of things that I've got in this book, that normally I wouldn't have really gotten them. So Mark Manson have kind of made a craft in this book. So if you ask me, this one goes first, and then Atomic Habit by James Clear, if you ask me, comes second, and then now Ali Abdaal, Feel Good Productivity comes third. And that's just the reason. And if you ask me the reason why I say that these two books, they sort of had formulas that they kind of talk about things, formulas that you need to follow to achieve success or achieve whatever you want to be, which I feel that I may argue about them that sometimes not necessarily that way. But here is quite different from Mark Manson's Everything is Fucked. It's quite different. The way he has kind of expressed himself here and the things naturally is quite different. So all of the three books so far, they are books that are worth reading, of course. But if you ask me, I'll take this one first, this one second, and then this one third. All of them, they are self-help books. It's something that I'll each and every other day I recommend people to read it. So that's just it for these books. So if you have read them already, nice. What's your thoughts about this book? If you haven't read it, are you planning on reading one of these, especially this now that's trending? You're planning to read about it? Take your take down there. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next one. Bye bye.